Everyone has a story. And so does everything. Antique, vintage, or curio.
Honestly, so exciting to see a doll like this from the 1800s in such incredible condition.
Like, we've had collections that have sold for, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Technological innovations, cultural significance, personal memories. What is it that gives each of these unique items their timeless quality?
Can't find these anywhere.
No. Join us as we blow off the dust and breathe new life into the past and the curious. In this episode of The Past and the Curious, we delve into the sweet history of honey tins, elegant pottery, and early robotics.
Just the overall appearance of this thing reminds me of like Star Wars, and it's very iconic for that era. Like, now we're more sleeker designs, more lighter. This thing is an anchor. It is a boat anchor. It is so heavy, squared.
Admire the intricate design of a Grimwade pottery vase.
The piece is a blend of the Art Nouveau and Art Deco period, which is indicative of the time that it was made just after those periods ended.
Explore the colorful collection of honey tins.
The Industrial Revolution and the perfection of the canning process really helped the honey industry expand globally.
My name's Candace Denton, and I brought in antique collectible honey tins. I'm interested in the honey tins due to the art, and they make perfect decorations for the kitchen. It's a fond memory I had when I was younger, so I like to keep collecting and sharing that with my children as they grow older.
The honey tins, vessels of sweetness steeped in history and tradition. From the arrival of European honeybees to North American English settlements in the colony of Virginia in the 1620s, to the pioneering efforts of Lorenzo Lorraine Langstroth, beekeeping has flourished, fueled by innovation and dedication. Early settlers used hollow logs and baskets as beehives, but advancements in the 1800s by Langstroth brought about rectangular frames in wooden boxes. These boxes adhered to the principles of bee space, specifically that if a gap of 7 to 10 millimeters is present, bees will not fill it with wax. This discovery allowed for movable frames which could be kept separate from each other and enabled bees to produce more honey. Fast forward to the 1950s, and honey had become a beloved staple in Canadian households. It wasn't just a sweetener, it was a natural remedy, soothing sore throats and coughs while aiding in digestive health.
Candace, welcome to the show today. I see you've brought a fantastic collection in for us to look at. What can you tell me about them?
It's a collection of honey tins. My first interest in collecting the honey tins was the art. A lot of colors, a lot of detail, perfect kitchen decor. My grandmother used to take her lunch in a honey tin to school.
I've seen other tin containers through the past used to store collections of buttons in them for nuts and bolts and screws. So they really were versatile, and they didn't wear out very fast. As you can see, these ones have lasted, in some cases, 100 years. Candace, what space do these occupy in your life today?
I have them set up in my kitchen because they make great conversation pieces, and the art is just fantastic. I really have no idea who would make the tins like this. Do you have any idea?
Yes, quite often the tins are marked on the side of the tin somewhere. One of the most common was the American Can Company. They were responsible for producing tins for coffee, for tea, obviously for honey, but that tends to be the most common manufacturer that you will find. And it's a good thing you've brought this particular selection in, because there's a lot of interesting history here. The tins range from painted examples to one very fine wartime package that has a paper label. This particular one is done on paper over a cardboard body. The others are all a lithographed picture on the tin. And the back of the tin, it advertises this as a wartime package. What that meant was that at the time, metal was a very precious commodity. They needed it for the war effort, so they were saving metals wherever they could. These particular packages, because of the wartime connection, multiplies the value of that container significantly. Originally, honey was contained in a totally different container. The idea being that it was a very messy product to deal with. You wanted something that not only would keep it protected from the elements, but just safe because it was such a valuable commodity. Earlier containers can be found that were made out of glass and pottery. The beginning of the 19th century, they finally figured out how to produce cans. And they did it on such a scale, it just made the availability and the cost so much better for the producer. It was much easier to put your product in a tin container than it was to pay for a glass one. The Industrial Revolution and the perfection of the canning process really helped the honey industry expand globally. This particular tin is interesting because this is when people just became fascinated with space exploration. We hadn't quite made it to the moon yet, but they were years ahead of their time. The whole scene shows a space landing complex. And for its era, it's probably the best art out there. The graphics on this tin show a bear ripping open a honey tree with the logo. The bear got stung, but you don't have to. The sort of idea that collecting honey was a pretty risky venture. It's a great loss that this beautiful art form had to go by the wayside. They really are a very unique reflection of the time. Candace, when you look at your collection of terrific honey tins here, what do you think about?
Truly, it's the art. They're absolutely beautiful, and it brings back those memories to when I was younger. It also makes me think of my grandmother back when she was taking her lunch to and from school in a honey tin.
A little bit of personal history like that tends to make any collection a little more interesting.
Do you happen to know a value?
I believe that your collection of honey tins would be worth anywhere from $75 up to possibly $250 for certain examples in this bunch.
I was a little surprised with the value. I wasn't expecting the value to be that high.
Have you ever considered parting with your collection?
I honestly, truly have not. I enjoy the art too much to part with them at this point.
Do you have any plans for these honey tins moving forward?
They're going right back into the kitchen where I had them displayed before. Despite the price, they're still going to be sticking with me at home in my kitchen.
Thank you, Candace, for coming on the show today.
Thank you for giving me some more information about them.
You're more than welcome. I think this collection is amazing. The graphics are incredible.
Anybody who's interested in collecting, I suggest collecting something like honey tins. It's a fond memory I had when I was younger, so I like to keep collecting and sharing that with my children as they grow older.
Up next,
Grimwade's pieces are certainly easy to find out there, but a piece from this particular design is certainly more rare.
My name's Kathy Thompson, and today I'm bringing in a Royal Winton vase of my grandmother's from 1921. I love the fact that it's the pink and green color palette. Whoever painted it had kind of a playful but really classical sense of design, so I think it's just so pretty.
amidst the allure of the early 20th century, a masterpiece emerges from the hands of Grimwade's Limited, trading as Royal Winton, a vase adorned with the timeless elegance of chintz patterns. Crafted with meticulous care by Leonard and Sidney Richard Grimwade, this vase embodies the essence of chintzware, renowned for its dense all-over floral prints. As the leading producer of chintz pottery, Royal Winton's creations graced homes across the Commonwealth and the USA, epitomizing the era's aesthetic preferences. Yet, as time wore on, chintzware production waned in the face of rising costs, casting a shadow over its illustrious reign. However, like a phoenix from the ashes, Royal Winton experienced a renaissance in 1995, reviving classic chintz patterns and crafting new pieces for a modern audience. Today, this vase isn't just a valuable piece of history, it is a testament to the craftsmanship and cultural heritage of a bygone era.
Kathy, thank you so much for coming in today with this beautiful vase.
I've had this vase since 1978 when my grandmother moved out of her house. It's a Royal Winton vase from 1921. She got it for her first wedding anniversary. She married my grandfather in 1920. He didn't have a lot of money. She saw it in a jewelry store in a window and she really wanted it. And he told her they couldn't afford it, but he surprised her with it. So kind of a touching story.
Kathy has brought in a stunning Royal Winton Grimwade's vase. The piece is a blend of Art Nouveau and Art Deco period, which is indicative of the time that it was made just after those periods ended.
Just reminds me of my grandmother. She's been gone for close to 40 years now. I spent a lot of time with her when I was a child, and we always had her dining room with flowers, so it reminds me a lot about her.
How did this lovely piece come into your possession?
In 1978, my grandmother moved from Ontario to British Columbia. We were disposing of things in her house, and my mom asked me what I wanted, and I asked if I could have this vase because I remember all the stories she told me about it. So I took it, and I've kept it for many, many years, kept it safe.
Looking at this vase, it is a true work of art from its time period. It has these incredible deco handles and a really intricate hand-painted design on the front that appears to have either a butterfly or a dragonfly, and some beautiful flowers, some gorgeous hand-painted swirls that are kind of Art Nouveau, so it's a little bit of a mashup between those two styles. It has a gorgeous gold rim around the top and some beautiful detailing on the back as well. Let's just have a look at the bottom, because we can usually indicate just based on the stamp what year it would have been created. Based on that particular stamp, we can tell that this piece would have actually been created between 1934 and 1950, likely closer to 1934, 1935.
I was really surprised. I thought it was something from about 1920-21 because that would have been my grandmother's first wedding anniversary. But when she told me these stories, she was in her 70s, so she could have gotten the dates mixed up.
Grimwade's pieces are certainly easy to find out there, but a piece from this particular period in this design is certainly more rare.
I'd like to know a little bit more about who this was for. I know my grandmother got it for a wedding anniversary, but I don't know exactly how it fits into society.
Well, I think your grandmother was a perfect example of who would have had a piece like this in her home. It would have been a high-end piece at the time. As you mentioned, it was a little bit probably more expensive. I understand it was purchased from a really lovely jewelry store at the time. So it would have been a showpiece in the home, probably on the dining room table or a side table displaying flowers, or even without, it's a work of art on its own.
Bridget, what do you know about Royal Winton and Grimwade?
The company was actually started in 1885 by the Grimwade brothers, and they were really pioneers of pottery like this at the time. They really specialized in high-end pieces like this, usually depicting natural scenes like flowers or animals. It was a great way for the artist hired by Royal Winton to express himself, and also an amazing gift to commemorate special occasions like a wedding anniversary.
Is Grimwade pottery still being produced today?
Yes, it actually is, but the look has changed quite dramatically from this. After this time period, Royal Winton really got into chintz patterns, so really dense floral patterns, and that kind of took off for them in 60 different patterns over the years that are still being recreated now in new pieces. But a piece like this, definitely you wouldn't find made today. It was very special to the time period. Originally, this would have been a really big symbol of wealth and taste. Eventually, they moved on to simpler, more modern aesthetics as well that you would really use every day in your home. Kathy, how do you use this vase at home?
I have it in my dining room. I usually put some flowers in it. I grow flowers in my garden. Last year I had some straw flowers and it just picked up the lovely yellows in it. I don't use it that much. I'm honestly a little afraid to use it, but I usually just look at it every day and think about my grandmother.
I love that you keep it on display, because that's just it, even without flowers in it, it's a great memory of your grandmother, and it's also just a beautiful piece to look at. And on the occasion that you do bring it out and put your beautiful garden flowers in it, how does it make you feel?
Just makes me feel kind of nostalgic for my grandmother. Also happy that I had so many great memories with her. That's really important to me.
That's so special. A piece like this isn't necessarily a hot item on the market today, but there are definitely collectors for unique pieces in this kind of design. Because it has that deco look and the beautiful hand-painted design with the swirls on the front, it's not like pieces that you'd see today, so there's still a huge level of collectability for a piece like this. Such beautiful quality. You've got no real issues with it. There are a few slight discolorations on the back, but other than that, it's in mint condition. So I would place the value of this particular piece to be about $125.
Well, it's worth millions to me.
I think it is absolutely the most valuable in your possession.
Thank you, I agree. Yeah, I can't bear to part with it.
I totally understand. Oftentimes when I see a piece like this, people will have it, buried in an attic or in their basement, but what I love is that Kathy has it on display in her home. The personal connection she had to it and the story from her grandmother were so special, and I love that she's holding on to it to pass down to her granddaughter. Thanks for coming on the show today, Kathy.
Thanks for having me. Well, I've moved this vase around to several households. I've kept it in pride of place in all of those households, and I think if my grandmother could see me today and see what I'm doing with it, she would be very happy that her legacy is living on.
Stay tuned. Artifacts await.
So imagine that this was in 1982 and how robotics was just kind of starting to be something that people were seeing for the first time.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Ann Jacobs. I brought in the Heathkit Hero 1 computer. It was something that was a little bit different. My son does computer programming. I ended up buying it because I thought that it was something that my grandson and my son might enjoy that they could do together.
In the late 20th century, the Heathkit Hero 1 robot rolled into the electronic kits market as a harbinger of the computer age to come. Originally founded in 1911 as an aircraft company, Heath changed direction post-World War II, embracing the burgeoning fascination with radio and electronics. As the 1980s dawned, Heathkit ventured into educational realms with the Hero 1 series, epitomizing their commitment to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM, with options ranging from a $1,500 basic kit to a $2,500 fully assembled version. The Hero 1 boasted a Motorola 6808 processor and sonar ranging sensor. At its heart, Hero 1 was more than just a machine, a precursor to modern STEM learning. It ignited imaginations, precipitating a future rich with technology and engineering prowess.
Well, thanks for coming in, Stephanie. What is this?
I'm actually not sure, Scott. It was something that was very unique at the yard sale, and it wasn't something I'd seen before.
Before I tell you what this is, what stood out most about this thing?
They weren't asking a lot of money for it, and I thought that I could maybe intrigue my son.
That sounds pretty cool. What this is a Hero 1 robot made by Heathkit, and the Hero stands for Heathkit Educational Robot. The whole robot just looked amazing. And this thing was basically made to inspire young people and older people about robotics. A lot of this kind of stuff at that time was very expensive. In some cases, you would have schools that would do fundraisers and they would buy this for the school, take it to classrooms, have kids play with it, basically inspiring kids. If you can imagine, at the same time Star Wars was coming out and playing in theaters, what more than a robot that almost looks like an android that could be equal to R2-D2. It does have some of that orange highlight. Just the overall appearance of this thing reminds me of like Star Wars for that era. Like now we're more sleeker designs, more lighter. This thing is an anchor. It is a boat anchor. It is so heavy, squared. So basically how this thing works is you have a keypad here and you would have a manual and it would tell you how to program it to do different things. It would have sensors here so it doesn't bump into people, or it would start talking if somebody walked by it. It would also have an arm that's on the back. You would control through a remote control, and the remote control would plug into the back here. So imagine that this was in 1982 and how robotics was just kind of starting to be something that people were seeing for the first time. And to hear the robot talk to you in the voice that it did and move, it even has an arm where it can pick up items. It's just something that would have fascinated people back then, and it's still fascinating to this day.
So what grades would this be taught to?
This would be taught kindergarten all the way to high schools, possibly even in universities. You got your circuit boards all around here. This can be popped off, and inside there would be even more circuit boards and wires. Each of these circuit boards would have the robot do something different. If you didn't purchase it already assembled and you wanted to put it together yourself, you would buy these separately.
It looks very different without the boards on it. It's very naked looking.
Yes, that's true. And if we swing this around here, there is also an arm with some grips or clamps. Now on today's standards, this is very primitive. However, at that time, it was probably revolutionary as far as something that would be found at the home and not in a military or like a NASA setting or something like this. Nowadays, they're actually changing these up and they're putting better circuit boards and making it more powerful and quicker, and somebody could invent this to go grab a beer out of the fridge for you. Heathkit is a division of the Heath Company, and in 1926, what they did then was create airplane parts. After World War II, they began to do circuit boards and robotics.
It actually sounds like this computer may talk.
It does talk. What you do is you actually program in sounds. It takes a long time to do that, and if you have the manual, you can look through the manual and it'll tell you what keys to punch in order to get that certain sound. And then from that, it will take those sounds and make them into words, which gives it a very distinct 80s, 60s robotic voice.
I have collected a lot of things, but I've never seen anything like this before. How collectible is this?
These are actually very collectible and very rare. There was only 14,000 of these things made throughout the 8 years that they were making them. As you can imagine, over the 30 years, they've been bumped around, thrown in the garbage, broken. Other than missing the side panels, this is actually in very good shape, especially the arm. You find a lot of these things broken, cracked.
Could I get the side panels for this machine from some source?
Yes, you could. People are actually doing metal panels and fitting them on there. Now these panels here, a lot of times are missing or cracked. So in order to grab these things, sometimes they're doing 3D printing models, but you actually need the original to get the complete specs of that. So you got the best part.
That's wonderful. Is the company still making robots like this?
This company here is no longer making robots. They made the robots and they went from this to the Hero Junior to the Hero 2000. And in 1995, they stopped making robots. However, these are inspirational to the people who are making the robots today. So as it sits right here, how does this make you feel?
My son is very intelligent when it comes to computer programming, and my grandson's very, very inquisitive. So I think they would have a lot of fun together.
And I think actually that's what it was made to do. It is missing the side panels, which can easily be modified or replaced. It is in great condition overall. If you were to power this up, it would probably work just based on what I'm seeing here. The arm, it's got all the parts here. Usually they come broken. It's got the clamps, the hands. I would say in its condition that this would be worth approximately $1,800 to $2,500.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
So Stephanie tells us that she bought this for $125, and that is absolute steal. And if you find one of these things for $125, do not pass that up. What's the plan with this going forward?
Well, Easter's coming, so I think that it's going to be an Easter gift for them.
I think you have the right idea, Stephanie. This was made to inspire kids, and that's exactly what you're going to do with this. Stephanie, thanks so much for bringing this in today. It was really nice to see this in person.
Thank you so much for educating me about this. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate it. Scott mentioned that it was an educational tool, and I think that that's what we'll use it for, because I think it's a great idea.
To look at how people commented on this thing back in the day when it first came out, and their mind and their imagination took it into like 10 years from now, it's going to be able to do dishes and take out the garbage and feed the dog. And we really never got there, and we're still looking 5-10 years before we can even fathom to do that. But this is where it all started. The imagination that people saw when they saw this thing is just incredible.
If somebody is to find something like this, I would tell them do not leave it behind. Take it with you, because you never know what you're getting. It could be worth a fortune.